Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to a listen through of season 1, episode 10. This is called The Truth. I have an idea as to what we find out in this episode, but I'm very excited. Veller Fricative, thank you for the sub. 4 months. Congratulations.
Do we have anything before we start?
I don't think so. Pretty light on the announcements right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Do you want to just hop in?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it.
As soon as I click in the correct spot.
There you go.
Hey. Hey everybody, this is Rev. Welcome to the Critshow. Before we get into the episode, I just want to take a quick second to say thank you to everybody who has been listening. You know, we have people in our lives who feel obligated to listen because they're our friends or our family or they have to interact with us every now and then. But the number of people who we don't know that we've been getting comments from or messages from is really cool. So to all of you out there who are enjoying the show and sharing it with other people who you think might like it, thank you so much. It really means the world to us. And that's all I'm going to say, because for the first time ever, I did get my first piece of angry message from someone saying, "How dare you leave us on a note like that?" So I'm going to let the recap roll. Yeah, fair. There was one other person that went missing, maybe 2 months before that.
Who was that?
It was a student who was here.
We're going to go check out the Shrieks. Do you have any thoughts on the best way for us to get there?
We got paddle boats that look like swans. And you feel the wind shift. In the distance, you can hear what sounds like the Screaming Islands. And then you very clearly hear a scream pierce the night carried on that same wind from the island.
Guys, get out here. Listen, somebody's out there. Somebody screamed. At the Shrieks, it had to have been. That was the direction.
How are we going to get out there? The paddle boats are going to take forever.
You step back and take a look at the Jeep that you have tried to transform using paddle boats and swan boats that has these flotation devices and the body of one of the swan boats, but it's all dirty and smeared and it looks like a turkey. Jake, you rear back, throw your hammer, and it slips out of your hand, crashes through the wall, and vanishes down the pit.
TJ, where are we? Who is this?
It's Rachel. She's the student.
And there's one box in the room in particular that catches because it says property of IPT on it. "I told you I didn't want to go back in there." And she lunges forward, sinking her teeth into your neck. TJ, you feel yourself pinned against the wall as she starts to drink from you. Tass, you hear this strange sound, like low hiss and growl and the sucking sound, and you think you hear TJ like sputtering and trying to talk but not being able to.
Oh, dang. I'm going to pull out my light rifle as I haul down the hall.
Okay. And are you just running straight down to them?
Yeah.
Okay. Jake, what are you doing?
That failure actually leveled me up.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So I am going to take a move from another playbook.
Uh-huh.
And in this case, I'm going to take a move called Invincible from the Chosen's playbook.
Oh.
Which means that I always count as having 2 armor.
Nice.
No matter what. Which means I'm probably going to dump the actual physical armor at some point. And I am now out of moves from other playbooks. I've taken 2 moves from other playbooks. I can't take any more.
Okay, so you've leveled. Now what are you going to do?
Well, I just got made by a ghoul, so I should probably go back and tell the guys that they're probably about to come in force.
Okay.
So I'm going to teleport back to TJ.
So, Jake, you appear next to TJ right about the same time that Tass comes around the corner. And so you both see this very frail-looking, dark-haired woman pinning TJ against the wall and drinking from his neck. She sees you both, and she pulls away and looks at you both.
I think I'm going to punch her.
Roll it.
Nice.
Oh, goody.
That is a 12 to kick some ass.
All right, what is your extra effect?
I want to force them where I want them.
Uh-huh.
I imagine I just like land this good hit because I'm still unarmed and then pin her arms behind her back and position her so that she is just directly in front of Tass's light rifle.
Well, how much damage is that?
My unarmed does 2 harm.
Roll straight cool.
10.
Okay, you're good. So you have got her positioned in front of you, Tass on the other side, TJ sliding slowly down the wall. What would you like to do, TJ?
I would like to use oops.
You find some holes in your neck. You think there might be vampires about.
You find some of those old pink eraser tips, and you can just plug them right into those holes. As you slide down the wall, your hand lands on a packet of Vienna sausages.
I have a quick question out of character.
Yeah.
Are you f***ing with this?
I am not. His power specifically says that it will be beneficial, maybe not in the moment. But yeah, your hand lands on a packet of Vienna sausages. Tass, what are you doing?
I'm going to hold the rifle up to her face.
And which lens do you have on?
I am going to assume that the starter lens was just the medium range. That seems like it's the most kind of general, and I have not switched anything out. So that is what is up. I'm going to say, honey, hold still. Clearly, you got turned or are turning or something. I don't know if we can...
If you don't let me go, I'll enact my power over him and change him forever.
Okay.
3,
hold up.
2, 1. You see a set of fangs, Tass, come out of TJ's mouth. Roll kick some ass.
That would be a 10.
Oh, my God.
You feel this bloodlust come over you, and you feel thirsty, and the closest person to you is Jake. Jake, take 1 damage, technically 3 damage, but you have 2 armor, and he sinks into the back of Jake's exposed neck and starts to drink.
Oh, God. Can I just do like a lightning elbow into TJ's face?
Yeah, roll kick some ass.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Tass, roll straight cool.
I'm sorry, TJ. You're in a lot of pain. That was a 13.
So what is your additional effect?
Force him where I want him.
You're going to
On
exchange harm with him first. How much damage did you do to him?
2.
He does 4 to you.
Damn.
As he attacks you, you feel your fingernails get long, and you rake at him. What'd you get, Tass?
Well, I have an important question about this. In this kind of role, do I get experience if I fail?
You don't. As Jake lets her go to lightning kick TJ.
Lightning elbow.
Yeah, lightning elbow. She looks you in the eye and says, "Forget you ever saw me." And your first thought is, "I ever saw who? I'm only here with these 2." And she vanishes.
Good.
Is TJ still feral?
At the moment, yes.
Okay, I want to try and talk him down. I don't think soothe will work.
Nope.
But just want to try and figure out the best way to fix TJ. Like,
Roll read a bad situation.
that is a 12.
You get a hold 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the best way to protect the victim?
I assume your protect him is to get him back to normal.
Yes.
You think that the best way to protect TJ in this moment, if you want it to be instant or if you want it to be a way that you know works, you know from what they told you at IPT, the thing you need to do is kill her. Or it sounds like maybe talk to her because she seemed to activate this hold over him. Or if you want to try to circumvent it from the little you know from IPT, you think if you take a couple of those werewolf serums and slam them into him at the same time, it might counteract whatever's going on in his body.
Slam.
And I mean like Pulp Fiction, Coke heart attack.
Slam them right into the neck holes.
I think I'm concerned with the now. Like, kill her or talk to her is on the agenda for sure. But right now he's a vampire that's trying to murder us.
Yeah.
And that needs to be resolved. I've got 2 werewolf serum on me, yeah. So I think I yank those 2 out and just like wait for him to come at me and just
Roll act under pressure.
All right, good.
No.
I got a 6.
You pull out these 2 things like blade and you're waiting. He charges at you. He sees it, grabs both your hands, and jams them into your neck.
My bad.
Bright side,
I'm about to get
you're
jacked.
You're healed.
You are fully healed. Something about whatever you took in before, when you took TJ's disease, you feel something fighting something else inside of your body.
Oh my
Sick.
goodness.
And TJ, having accomplished this, passes out.
What the hell just happened? Like, what actually just happened?
Do I feel like I'm being torn apart or...
You know how sometimes you get back from a long weekend or like a convention or something, and you're like, man, I feel like I'm getting sick. Like something just feels wrong inside of me. Something just feels wrong inside.
Con crud?
Yes. Although this stands for Constitution crud.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to check on TJ, see if he's alive.
He's breathing.
I want to check and see if he's still got fangs.
He does not.
Oh, God, what happened to him?
She sucked his blood and turned him into a vampire.
She who? And I'm kind of getting down and getting out my kit to attend to his wounds.
The lady that just attacked us.
Who? Where?
Rachel, the student. He found her in a cage in the other room. What's wrong with you?
What the hell are you even talking about? Yeah, so I mean, I'm just down going, oh God, and trying to patch him up.
Roll medic.
Okay. That is a 10. So he is stabilized and healed of 2 points. What did I miss? This looks like a vampire bite.
Yeah, it is a vampire bite. And I tried to stick him with the werewolf serum to see if it would fix him, and he stuck me with the werewolf serum. And there's some really awful shit going on inside my body right now. I think werewolf blood and vampire blood are fighting each other. Do me a favor, will you hit me with that light gun?
Yeah? And I'll flip it on and point it at him.
7 points of damage. No, kidding.
Oh my God.
All right, goodbye.
Dead.
Nothing happens.
All right, well, I am not turning, so that's good, but like something's going on inside me, and I have a feeling it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Oh, good.
So anyway, he has vampire-ness, and that woman can evidently turn it on, because she did. She said some stuff, and he went feral and attacked us, and I don't know why you don't know what I'm talking about.
I just came around the corner.
Oh, this is driving me insane. We need to get out of here. I got spotted by the ghouls in the water, and they're probably coming back. I don't know where she went, but we need to find her and kill her so that we can set TJ free.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's only one other way we haven't gone yet.
So I want to use another one of my hold.
Okay.
What's my best way out?
Your best way out, you think that there are 2 ways out of this. Follow the tracks down the hallway, and you know that the scuba gear will take you out through the water. You have gone through 2 directions now that take you into the ocean. It seems like the right path at the original fork is pretty heavily trafficked, and it seems very dry, and it looks like it's pointing the direction of the island. You don't necessarily know where it will lead to, but you think that this may somehow go all the way under and come back up inside the island somewhere. But it does look like the path that is the most heavily used. So that probably is the direction they went to hunt in the way they would come back.
And yeah, that's what I was going to say. So do I still think that's my best way out?
You think the best way out is probably through the water, and it's probably where you got caught.
Okay.
Because you know that they come from those other 2 places, and you did not see tracks in that other hallway that had the multiple layers of water.
In that middle hallway, I got all the way out to essentially the ocean. That's where one of them spotted me. I think that's going to be our best bet. I think most of them are coming through that right tunnel. It seems like it leads back to the island, but I think that if we go that way and they are coming back here for us, that's where they're going to be.
Oh, God.
So I think we need to throw on the scuba gear and swim.
I'm going to gear up his unconscious ass and get into mine. Then we can at least drag him, at least be able to breathe with that stuff on.
So it takes you guys just a couple of minutes to get the gear on.
What do we do with TJ's gear, though?
Clearly, I'll strap him into the scuba stuff so that he can breathe. I mean, I'll just hang on to it, I guess. I mean, I'll drop it if I have to, but...
That sounds unwieldy. Good luck.
It does.
Oh, look, a bungee cord in one of these boxes.
I can just go put stuff in the Jeep.
Oh, that's so true. Oh, my God.
All right, so I will take one of the spear guns, and I assume you can carry an additional stake and mallet. That doesn't seem too...
Well, you might as well just throw it in the Jeep.
All right, so I'll take the 3rd spear gun and the dive light and the stake and mallet and just pop up to the Jeep.
When you arrive, there are 5 ghouls around the Jeep sniffing at it.
If I pop in there and there's a bunch of ghouls there, then I'd be like, oh no. And just the first place that I would think of that wasn't the tunnels down there is where we've been spending a lot of our time, the main office.
You appear in the main office, and at that little table where you guys were talking is Ori sitting with the woman you just fought, and she is feeding off of his arm, and he looks at you. He goes, it's not what it looks like?
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for the credits to roll, but we're only 2 minutes into the episode.
This is our 11-minute episode.
I'm just like, oh God.
Okay, we're gonna pause there for a
Yeah,
second.
okay, let's pause there.
I love episodes like this where there's almost no out of character talking. Like, so much happens in those first 10 minutes. Yeah. So, what are some things here? The roles, so the cool roles.
Yes. What were was those like the sort of mesmer thing that
Yes.
Rachel was trying to do?
Yeah, so that was just them fending off her kind of mind control ability, which we will see used later by some other folks. And then the tunnel, the three different tunnels, and how one of them did not have any ghoul marks in it. That was such a minor thing, but we'll learn in a little while who else is here.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked the idea of almost this person being the alpha of this pack, and so he had a path that the others weren't allowed to use. And so that's why there were no tracks of ghouls in that path, because he is the pack leader, and that was his way in and out, and they could smell it and would not use it.
Oh, that's interesting. Like that was his domain, so they
Yeah.
didn't go into like his. Okay, I have a
Yeah.
question about werewolf serum.
Yeah.
So we know that using too much of it is not good. We know that it's addictive.
Yeah.
Were you keeping track of how many times the boys used werewolf serum in total? Or were you keeping track of how many times they used it in like a sort of concentrated amount of time?
Both.
Okay.
So I can't remember exactly what it was. I'm sure I've got it written down somewhere, but it was if X amount in X amount of time.
Okay.
So there might be like a couple days where they didn't use any, and one of those charges against them went away. And so
Mhm.
like, because it was like if they had taken, I think it was 7 in the course of a week or something like that. And so TJ kept kind of skirting that, like he almost kept hitting it. And then we get to a later story where it is unavoidable.
Where we see the ramifications of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when it was like, yeah, Jake, you get both doses of werewolf serum at once, I was like, oh no. Which sets up a very interesting potential path for Jake in about 2
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Ori.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know just from talking to you a little bit that your idea for the kind of character that Ori was going to be changed pretty drastically midway through this arc.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so even in the first and second episodes, I had decided that Ori was the one who was in charge here, that it was his thing, and like this kind of relaxed demeanor was just a kind of his cover.
Mm-hmm.
And as they started to interact with him, I was like, this doesn't feel right. Maybe he actually is just a caretaker. And so it turned into him knowing kind of what's going on, him being a part of it, but not necessarily a part of it that he did not choose to do it. He was being kind of forced or coerced into doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that power structure changed. Because in my head before, there were 3, well, technically 4 groups, 4 kind of lieutenants here, dealing with each other, and he was one of them, and then he became not one of them.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
Should we keep listening?
Yeah. And there's that cackle from me was because I've talked about before that I keep pretty specific timelines, so that when something happens, when Rachel left, in my head I went, okay, I know where she is and I know what she's doing, and that's where she'll be until the end of this scene, for example. And so I was like, there's no way they're going to get back here in time. Like, this won't be a problem for him. And then Jake was like, I think I panic and I teleport to Ori.
You're
I was
like,
like,
okay.
Oh, like I love when that stuff happens, when I get caught off guard by them coming across something that I didn't think they would see.
Let's see. Enthalpy asks, was there a moment at which you decided to make the story switch, or did you decide over time to reduce Ori's culpability?
It was during the last episode, that kind of more slapsticky one where he was,
Where he was
no, I
like
guess it was
looking at
2
the
epi
body and like
was it 2
I
episodes
think it
ago
was
that
2 episodes ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was when he was kind of unsettled by the body and not wanting to deal with that and collecting the blood and, hey, we want to show you this. Thanks, I guess. Like, it was at that point that I was like, okay, this change has happened. It reminds me, I'm a big fan of Stephen King, and he always talks about how the characters tell you what they're going to do, and if you try to force them, they won't do it. And so that was very much one of those moments where I was like, this is what I think you're going to do, Ori. And he's like, no, man, I'm
No,
good. And
man.
I was like, okay, you're right.
It's like, no, man, I just want to play Xbox with Jake.
I just want to hang out. And what's nice about it is that it establishes a very long running theme of our story. Like, this is the first time where it's like, oh, something that is considered in movies or books or whatever as evil, it's not all the same. And so what is that like when there's a vampire who doesn't really want to be a vampire? And it kind of leads us down a path of a lot of not morally, but a lot of NPCs where as soon as they trust them, you're like, wait, is this okay? And then it's like, oh no, this is fine. Because then that also makes for the moments where it's like, oh yeah, we trust this one, and then it's not fine.
Yeah, that's true. Not all monstrous characters they meet are gonna be as chill as Ori.
Yeah.
But it
And
does.
that even if they present like they are, they may not all actually be being honest with them.
Yeah. Enthalpy says, this behind-the-scenes swap is what a lot of my questions are about. I'll try to paste them. No, you can just throw them at us.
Yeah, go ahead. or else we'll get too far away from it.
It's true.
There's a lot of other stuff that's going to happen here in a moment.
Yeah, a lot of reveals happen this episode. A lot of lore dumps happen.
A lot going on.
A lot going on this episode. But yeah, but
Okay.
let's listen a little bit more.
All right. We're going to go back just a little bit to get into that.
And she is
Yeah, we'll go here.
You appear in the main office, and at that little table where you guys were talking is Ori sitting with the woman you just fought, and she is feeding off of his arm, and he looks at you. He goes, it's not what it looks like?
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for the credits to roll, but we're only 2 minutes
This is our
into the
11-minute episode.
I'm just like, oh God. Oh, I think I'm like this. I'm like,
Do you want to have a seat? You seem stressed.
is she just there?
She's looking at you and just sucking on his arm.
Ori, that's like a vampire, dude. What's happening? You're letting a vampire eat you.
Well, yeah, she's one of mine, though. It's okay.
What do you mean she's one of your...
Well, she's one of the ones I help take care of.
What? I've just got like hands in my hair. I'm like, what?
Please, just sit down. I'll explain everything that I know, okay?
Can I sit down in a chair that is distant from them?
Yeah, there's a couch that you can sit on.
I will sit down somewhere that is kind of far away from them.
And I remember so clearly that like Jake he like had his hands in his hair, and he was just this reveal of Ori being something that he wasn't. It was I love those moments at the table where I can catch them off guard with a reveal.
No, I love
and
this.
that I can. And what's even better is when I can catch it on mic, because a lot of times those reveals come at the end of the episode, and I don't leave it running long enough, or else they're quiet because they know it's the end of an episode. But I like when I can capture that moment.
No, it's so good, especially with Jake and Ori already being quite close.
Yeah.
With the two of them have interacted the most compared to Ori and either of the other two boys. And
Yeah.
I love this just very, very genuine reaction from Jake of like, but my friend, you were so cool.
Okay.
And I like rest my chin on a hand like I'm trying to be cool
To be
about
casual. So you sit down on the couch. Tass, what are you doing?
I think I'm getting real antsy that he is not just back instantly. So, I'm readjusting all of TJ's gear. And if he is still taking this long, honestly, what I think I want to do is just kind of drag TJ with me to that room and inspect it. Like that's a spot that I more or less know doesn't have a way out. So I'll at least have my back to a wall if anything attacks. And then I'll look around.
Roll investigate a mystery.
Okay. +1 is 10.
All right, you get a whole 2.
What is being concealed here?
There are a number of things as you look around the room. There is in the corner a cage that the door has been taken off by the hinges, and you can see that it has fallen and crashed onto a table, destroying it. You can see that there are 2 other tables around the room, as well as 2 bookshelves. And on the other tables are candles. Now, one of those tables, the one closest to the door, 2 of the candles have been knocked over and put out. It looks like someone was rummaging around looking for something here.
Who
But
could've
the
done
third
that?
table hasn't been touched. And you can see that it has 10 candles on it, and they are in their proper positions. In the center of this ring of candles are what seem to be the shell and claws of a crab. Inside the ring of candles that has a few of them knocked over is a mound of dirt with ant corpses on it. And then at the table that you can see was crushed by this giant metal door, it's kind of hard to tell what's there. There are bits and pieces of table, and there are pieces of the candles. There seems to be something inside of it that's organic, but you can't really make out what it was. It was crushed by the weight of the door falling. And then you can see that from each table, there's a line carved in the stone of the floor that leads to the middle of the room. And in the middle of the room is a carved circle that also has 10 candles around it.
10 candles.
What did I was adjusting something. What did I say was in the first one?
A crab.
A crab. Okay.
Yeah, crab, ants, and then who knows?
And then who knows? Yeah.
I like Josh here. What is being concealed here? Oh, so much. But most of it was trashed by TJ earlier. Ooh, another question from Enthalpy about Ori. How much of the plot had to change when you changed Ori from being the villain?
None of it really. So the main difference was that before Ori was the person who had the control of the ghouls. Eston. Oh, we haven't
quite met that person
this
yet.
other person, another person is in control of the shrieks and had that lab there, that lair. But they were kind of I'll almost make it akin to like in World of Warcraft or something. He was just a wandering named monster. Like he was on the island, and I just had a chart of where he was at what point in the day, and he just roamed around. And so what changed was that he became kind of the hound master for the ghouls, as opposed to Ori.
He got a promotion.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Good for
So
him.
that was really the big difference, was that he was kind of a wandering, like, oh, if you encounter him, it might be very bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so Ori was no longer in control of the ghouls.
Yeah, he was just kind of caretaking whoever was there.
Mm-hmm. Enthalpy says, good for him, bad for the IPT. Well, yes. Yeah, so that person was always in the shrieks, and like taking Rachel and all of that was still accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, like if you were looking at the island as a map, what changed was the tunnel that went there's a tunnel that goes inland to the shrieks. Before that tunnel went inland to underneath one of the huts at the Wavensea.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep going.
10 candles. Do I recognize that?
If you pull out your phone and look at the photos that you took prior, the ring of candles around what is left of this crab, the shell and the claw, looks familiar. It's the same pattern you saw at the IPT?
Oh, shoot. I'm going to be taking pictures of everything.
Okay. So what all are you taking pictures of?
Definitely the 3 tables and the setups with the candles, even the one that is destroyed, where the lines lead, the bookshelves, anything on the, books and stuff.
Yeah, there are 3 books on one of the bookshelves, and the other one has what looks like components. Are you taking anything?
I mean, the books I definitely would take. In the components, I think it would just kind of depend. Like, are they vials that are open? Are they is there anything that I can move? Is there like a bag or something laying around that I could throw some stuff in?
There's not any kind of like travel bag for this stuff. You can tell that whoever was working here works exclusively here.
Okay. Yeah, just anything then I think that I can fit in my pockets.
Okay. Like a sample of each thing?
Sure.
Or-
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
right.
Just kind of looking at the destruction. I want to use my other hold if I can, just to see what happened here.
So with that, you can see that there are dozens of footprints coming in and out of this room, but all of them except for like 2 sets go in the room, into the circle, then back out. There's only 2 sets of footprints that go around the room to anywhere else. One of them you recognize. They're TJ's footprints.
Uh-huh.
And you can see that the destruction was probably accidental. You see that the bolts are knocked out of the cage to open the door. You know that he freed Rachel from that cage. You can guess that maybe he tried to find a key because one of the drawers on the table is open, and that's the table that has some candles knocked askew.
Well, I have a hard time believing that that's the case.
I know.
But
I know.
I'm just going to take that as gospel, I suppose.
Using one of your hold to out the mistakes of your teammate is
Someone
so
else
good.
did is so.
What happened here? Well, I'm gonna have to tell you.
Well. Josh asks, did you mean it looked like the candles that you saw at the Halifax? You said the IPT, probably.
Oh, did I? Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, I did.
absolutely.
wild.
The nature of speaking extemporaneously sometimes.
Yeah. That's a 3-year-old pickup I need to do.
Yep. Okay, so my question.
Yeah.
So we've seen this ritual with the candles at the Halifax. We kind of burned it down last time. It didn't really figure out what was going on. You putting this exact same thing in Hawaii, was this your opportunity to be like, all right, now they're gonna know what this ritual does, or was it always here?
It was always here
Okay.
because this is the person who created it.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out later that information gets kind of passed on.
Mm-hmm.
So no, this was its place of origin.
And
Yeah.
then they destroy it again.
And then it gets destroyed again. And then I think 2.5 seasons, maybe 3 seasons later, they get the opportunity to learn about it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
And then along with that, you can tell that some kind of ritual was being done here. You can see that something was led in and out repeatedly, or multiple things were led in and out one at a time. There's a component shelf. There are these books, and there are these rings that you know that at least were used in the capturing of the magic of the ley line in Indianapolis.
Cool.
Is there anything else that you want to do?
I want to just check the phone. Do I actually have any reception down here?
You don't.
I didn't think so.
The phone still works, having been in the water as long as you were, but there is no reception down here, and you imagine it's because you might be under a couple 100 feet of rock and
Sure.
stone and dirt.
Okay, then I'm just going to have to sit on these pictures for the moment.
Wait for Jake to come back.
Yeah, kind of post up at the entrance and be ready if anything comes.
Jake, so you're sitting on the couch. So what do you want to know? Like, I don't know what your thoughts are right now to know what to feed you or what to correct. Or
Can we avoid using the word feed?
you see him glance at her, and she's like, he's like, oh, that's fair.
Gross.
Can she hold off on that for like just a minute? This feels weird.
I'm sorry, it's very Game of Thrones, the people in the Sky Tower, but she's been a prisoner for quite a long time. She was about to die, so I gotta get her back to health.
Ori, who are you? What are you? Because I'm a monster hunter in general.
Yeah,
and
I know.
This is against my nature, so I'm really putting a lot of my eggs in the Ori basket right now.
This isn't something that was done to me. I was born a vampire. And early on, I realized that a lot of people were going to judge me harshly for it. And so I wanted to figure out a way to stay away from bad situations. But inevitably, bad situation finds you, no matter how you try to hide. And he looks at Rachel, go to sleep. And she does. She lays her head down on the table and goes to sleep. And he stands up and wipes his arm off. There's a vampire lord. I have to take care of his people. And they were doing something out here, and one of his guys went crazy and started coming after his other workers. And so that's why you're here. They somehow got wind that some of the people at the resort worked for some kind of monster hunting thing. Whatever happened to your friends at your job was done to bring people here because for some reason, whatever's going on, they can't deal with it. And I don't know why they would have been making these, but the guy who took care of them went mad. And all of a sudden, it was this guy and his swarm of these things and them trying to figure out how to deal with it. And I'm just trying to make sure that the guy running the thing doesn't get mad.
Who's the guy?
Did you ever read Harry Potter?
Yeah.
It's dangerous for me to tell you.
Do you want to write it down?
No, because then there's proof that I did it. Just don't say it too many times. His name is Gregory Nash. Well, he took my sister about 70 years ago, and he lets me check in with her every now and then. But I know that if I don't do what he says, it's not going to be a good ending for her.
So the creatures that are here, the ghouls, you're not with them.
No, I think they were making them, but then they got away from them somehow.
And
like the guy who was like essentially the hive keeper went mad.
And who's that?
His name is Eston.
He's here? He's on the island?
Oh, yeah. He's out there somewhere.
You don't know where?
No, he usually is at the Shrieks. Was he not there?
I'm going to assume that's the guy who had your girl locked up, in which
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
no, that guy wasn't there.
Oh, I'm glad you're not there then, because if he comes back, it's super dangerous.
And I sort of like remember that my friends are down there. And so I'm like, Ori, my people are still down there.
Get him out of there.
We're going to have more words
Yeah.
in the near future.
Yeah, I'll be here.
And I'll go back.
Tass, you're there for...
Pause there for a second.
Okay. I forgot. How old is Ori?
You know, it's never said how long he has been around.
Do you have an idea?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
He's definitely been around a while
Mhm.
because he was born this way, and he just looks like he's in his like super early 20s right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I forgot that particular detail of
Yeah.
Ori's biography.
And also that, and this is something that is always fascinating to me when I go back, that he tells them like, hey, you can't say his name too often. And like there is a reason for that and a price to that. And I think it's something that has kind of been lost in, 200 episodes. So yeah.
Let's see. Do we ever learn why Nash's people couldn't deal with Eston and the ghouls?
We do not. I know, but I don't think it's something I can talk about yet because it actually hasn't come up in in the show where it is now.
Okay, fair.
But yeah, there's a very specific reason why Nash would not come deal with it himself.
Why did Rachel say she didn't recognize the man who locked her up?
Because she was lying.
Oh.
Because she was just trying to to play the damsel in distress.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so two big names just came up: Gregory Nash and Eston. We're gonna hear about these two, or
For a while.
for a while, for a while. So, how to? You must, since we're only 10 episodes into here, so you must have had a pretty clear idea of who Nash was and what he wanted from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the one thing, like after the first story arc, which was just kind of getting our feet wet and establishing the world and really establishing them as characters, knowing that, okay, now this has got to branch.
Mm-hmm.
Once I kind of decided what it was that ritual did and who created it, I knew what they wanted,
Mm-hmm.
which is something we don't really find out until almost midway through season 3. But yeah, at that point, that was kind of the one thing that I knew,
Mm-hmm.
that I then built around.
Nice. Vethic Gaming asks, why is Eston so cool? Which brings up, did you, the person asking that, Matt, has a son named Eston. Did you indeed
Yeah.
name Eston after that person?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
yes. Is
Yes.
Gregory Nash named after anybody?
No.
Okay.
There are a few folks that aren't named after specific people, but a lot of them are.
Okay. Well, let's keep going.
Tess, you're there for quite a while still, and you've looked through this place, and you're wondering why isn't Jake back? And you start to hear this scuttling.
I'm looking for it, looking for the sound of it.
You look down the hallway, and you see a ghoul peek its head around the corner and sniff in your direction, and then peek back. Oh, who's in my house? Who's in my house? Jake appears next to you. Oh.
I instantly put my hand up.
My pets are going to find whoever's been in my house. Find them. Find them.
I'm getting us out of here. I don't care if it scatters us to the four corners of the earth.
All
We're
right.
not going to be here anymore.
Roll it.
Damn it.
Is it an outright fail?
It is an outright failure. I rolled a 7 with my -1 weird.
Oh my god.
I am going to spend a point of luck.
Oh.
Yeah, boy.
There it is.
God, no,
Where
this-
do you want to be?
Back to Ori, back to the lobby.
So you guys hear this just unsettling voice trail away as you vanish and reappear in the lobby of the resort.
Okay, that was
Boy, you can see, like, even listening, it's so funny. I caught myself doing it, but like even listening to Eston, I feel that voice in me, and like I feel my face, my facial structure, like going along with his rises and falls.
As you briefly became Eston.
Yeah.
Who's in my house might be like the first time I was like, oh, this podcast is kind of freaking me out.
I don't like this.
I don't like this. That might be one of my favorite pieces of sort of frightening voice acting you've done. Is that nice intro to Eston. Enthalpy is a great question. Did the reason for the rotten meat drink being at the bar change with Ori? I don't recall if we ever learned the reason for that existing.
It did not change, but I don't know if we ever do exactly learn what it is doing there.
I don't think so. Is it okay
Huh.
to talk about?
Yeah. So it was essentially a that voice is nightmare fuel.
It is. It's good, but it's scary.
So this was a, Eston is here working on a bunch of different things. And so it is kind of how do I want to say? It is very similar to werewolf serum, except that it has a much stronger effect on how quickly it will turn you.
Okay.
Because that was part of the design, was to turn you faster. And that is what was given to the two IPT agents in their drinks.
Poor Fritz and Ellis.
Yeah, so Fritz and Ellis were changed through that in their drinks over the course of that night.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Enthalpy says, I like how the transcript comments seriously creepy voice the first time we hear it. Yeah. Doesn't the congealed blood drink come into play in the cracked mirror subplot?
Processing. I don't know off the top of my head what exactly the reference is, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I would sit here and kind of spitball it, but I don't want to spoil anything.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to message me on Discord, and
Yes.
I can let you
Please
know.
do.
Yeah.
Let's see. Talking about creepy voices, Aston and Yaga, whenever she appears, I agree.
Yeah.
They kind of live in similar places.
Yeah.
It's just a difference of kind of how kind of
It's
open your mouth
enunciation.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Baba Yaga has much clearer enunciation.
It's fun getting to watch you do the voices.
Yeah.
um,
Jake just always looks on in horror.
I mean, that makes sense. He's the one that's sitting the closest to you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and he used to sit directly across from me.
Oh, goodness.
Whereas at the original table we were at, I was at one end, Jake was on the other end, and then Tass and TJ were like, we made like a half circle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Please don't make eye contact with me while you're doing
Yeah,
that voice. Yeah, so while we wait for that question to come into Twitch talk, let's keep listening a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, that was.
Oh, that was fast. I
He's
thought.
down there.
Oh,
He was coming for us. Creepy voice.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's down there. Okay.
Oh God, who is she? Okay.
And seeing her, all of your memories from underneath the island come flooding back.
Oh, bitch.
Yeah, okay. We've got a lot to unpack here. She's asleep for the moment. So that guy that was coming down there with the creepy voice is a very, very bad, crazy man who is controlling all of the ghouls on the island. Don't know exactly why, but
Yeah, she might know. They were doing something to those ghouls. He went crazy as a result.
So is he a ghoul?
No, man, he's a vampire.
Okay.
Which-
Wait a minute.
which evidently is not automatically a bad thing.
Okay, we can unpack that in a second. You knew all this?
Yeah. Well, I've pieced some of it together.
Oh, okay. So when we asked you if you had pertinent information to the situation and you said no, what you meant was not no.
I don't know you, man. You're not worth my sister's life.
Ori, can you just briefly get them up to speed on what you told me?
I'm not going to say his name, though. You got to tell them that I can't risk it again.
Okay. Oh, wait. TJ's still unconscious.
He is.
Let's bring TJ back
Okay.
to consciousness. Ori, can you help my friend here? She really did a number on him and he's not conscious. Is he a vampire, like permanently now?
What'd she do?
She sucked his blood, she said a thing, or like snapped her fingers or something, and he went all apeshit and bit me.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's usually how it happens, I think.
Can he be unturned?
Yeah, killer.
Oh, that's not great.
Is he going to be out of control like that unless she makes him out of control like that? Will he be in control otherwise?
I don't know. I've never turned anyone.
All right, this is a bridge we're going to have to cross in a moment, but we need him conscious again because he needs to know all this too. I don't know, shake him awake?
Yeah, he wakes up.
Okay.
Huh?
How you doing, man?
What am I doing? The hell?
And he has got a shotgun lowered at his face at the moment.
What the hell are you doing? Get that thing out of my face.
Okay,
All right.
that's promising.
TJ, you're going to get a lot of bad news in a very short amount of time.
The hell are you talking about?
The first part of it is you were bitten by a vampire and turned into a vampire and you attacked us. Now, a silver lining, we think that's reversible and we're getting there. But we've learned a lot of new stuff, and there is a bigger threat than we expected here, and Ori is going to clue you guys in.
Wait a minute. What? Ori?
Hey, man, how you feeling?
I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling. I'm feeling
You want something to eat?
Confused.
You want to have a seat? I got some Snickers bars.
Snickers?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have a seat on the couch, man. It's comfy.
Oh,
He does. He goes over behind the counter and he pulls out a box of Snickers bars and throws them to each person.
thank goodness.
Rachel's
Oh.
bounces off her forehead.
Wait a minute. What is she doing here? I'm getting up and I'm pulling out my nunchucks.
Yeah,
And
I wouldn't do that, man.
the hell
Yeah.
are you talking about?
If you wake her up, you might not be yourself again.
Ori can explain some more of the details on this. All right, he's already filled me in. Fill them in too, and I'm just going to watch out like the windows. Like I want to keep moving around this room and like closing blinds if there are blinds or curtains if there are curtains. And just trying to keep an eye out and see like, if ghouls start swarming us or
Yeah.
something, I want to be aware.
Don't close up too much.
Why?
You don't want it to look suspicious. Like, this is an island place. We've always got everything open. Like, I understand that you're wanting to protect yourself, but also don't draw attention by making things look not normal.
Do you know where the main entrance is for the ghouls? Like from around here? Is there one around here that a direction they'd be coming from?
Oh, I have no idea. They're like ants. Like, they just burrow under the island, I think. And so he goes in and starts to tell you the story. And essentially, he tells you what he has told Jake, that he was born with vampirism, and he decided he wanted to try to find a way to live his life where people wouldn't judge him or that he wouldn't do any harm. And so he has stayed on this island his whole life. He started to work at this resort where he can kind of get the best of humanity and see them do all the good things. But something bad always seems to find you if you're trying to hide. And this vampire lord found him and took his sister about 70 years ago and has basically forced him to work. He doesn't make him kill people. He doesn't make him kind of serve as one of his generals, but he makes him maintain the island and act as kind of a caretaker for his generals that do work on the island. And for some reason, they started using this island about a year ago, and that's when the ghouls started appearing, and then the ghouls started changing, and he knows that they were doing something to the ghouls to change them, and it drove the guy who was the beekeeper or the caretaker, whatever you want to call it, for this hive of ghouls, went mad as well. And so then he started using the ghouls as a weapon against the other generals on the island.
Okay, so with the exception of patrons that come in, is everyone on this island a vampire?
No. As far as I know, there's only 4 of us.
Okay, so the guy that went crazy,
Eston.
you,
Yeah.
Rachel,
Uh-huh.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the other one, I think he's dead. There was a 4th one, but he died.
Who was that?
He was some guy over in the village.
Oh.
Did he get yanked off a dock by a ghoul?
All I know is that one of his guys, not too long ago, he died. He was killed, and that's when they started getting real anxious. Like, Rachel here went missing, and then they found pieces of, I think his name was Arlen.
That's the guy?
Yeah,
that
the
was-
guy who went missing, and they just found pieces of Arlen, and that's when they started realizing there was a problem. And so when there was wind, that you can tell he feels kind of uncomfortable as he's starting to say this. He contacted me, the main guy, and told me that he had information that there were some people who worked for an organization that dealt with this kind of thing here, and he sent me a package and said I had to put it into their food. And he said that it wouldn't kill him, it would just mess him up for a while, and it would bring some people here who could help solve our problem.
Okay, so Vampire Lord manipulates it so that we come here to deal with one of his rogue generals. Can we say that that is sort of the thesis statement?
Yeah.
What is her role here?
I think she was working on the project, whatever these 3 were working on to make. I think she dealt with the magic, and I think that the other guy who went missing, he dealt with the wildlife. And then Eston, he's the one who looks over the ghouls. He's like, I don't know, their handler, or, I don't know, the ghoul master. That sounds pretty badass, but it's really unsettling, I promise.
I want to try to get as much clarity on this as I can. TJ has been turned, and we need to know exactly what that means for him, if there's any other way to fix it besides killing her, and on that note, if we have any compelling reason not to.
Really, your compelling reason not to is if you do it, you just got to make it look like you stumbled across her.
Well, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but her body's not where you found her.
No, that's true.
What I'm trying to say is that if he gets a sense that you guys know what's going on here, the last thing any of us in this room will do is have this conversation.
Here's your alibi. Pretty much exactly what did happen with a little bit of what could have. We have somebody here that's a divine that brought us back. We come back here to try to make sure everyone else is safe. We appear to see her feeding on you, and we shoot the threat. For all anyone else knows, you're so grateful that we just saved you from a monster. What is this monster? What's going on?
Yeah, that actually, I mean, if he thinks that I was able to convince you guys that maybe she was the thing that made those and that killing her, oh, but you guys got to stop him though.
Hey,
But maybe they were working together.
yeah, to us, it's all vampires, man.
Yeah. Okay, that might work, but like I told him earlier, I don't know if there's any other way to do it. I think you got to talk to her if you want to know what she was doing wondering if there's any way to undo what happened to Tej here.
We could use her help, even. Maybe we wake her up, she's got an answer for how to fix TJ without killing her, and she hates that dude too. Maybe she helps us kill that guy. And altogether, we frame it as we found her, imprisoned by him.
She can't lie to him. I can. He didn't make me. He made her.
Well, that complicates things.
Yeah. Like, it's not a voluntary organization. I think I'm one of his few that he didn't make.
Ori, is there any way that you could help us fight that guy and then we can conceal your involvement afterwards? If you can lie to the big man, I'm sure the four of us could shut that guy down.
I couldn't do it without his permission.
Why not?
Because I am under a compulsion. I can't do harm to his people. If he wanted me to fight him, he'd have me fight him instead of going through the trouble to bring you guys here.
Logistically, it makes sense. He's not going to send somebody that he has placed here to do a thing and potentially get him killed when he can just throw some nobodies at it and hope that that sticks. All right, Ori, look, I'll just be frank here. If we were to wake her up and try to get a little more information, if it starts to go south, I mean, do you have a way to put her back to sleep?
I mean, I could try. There's nothing saying that she couldn't get away before I could do it, and then she'd have the knowledge that the four of us have been talking.
Right. So I think what I do, I actually get out my phone and I start furiously texting Rev and IPT a quick progress report, and I'm sending them all those pictures that I took of the candles and the setup and the dirt pile and just all of it.
Is this a group text?
It is not.
Did you ask him if he knows any other way to fix a vampire?
Oh, yeah, no. By the way, Tej got turned. Do you have any idea if there's a way to fix this besides just outright killing the vampire that turned him?
You get a text back that says it's different depending on the type of vampire, and he asks if you know the type of vampire.
Ori, what kind of vampire is she?
Oh, I don't know, man. What kind?
It's not a joke set up for
Oh,
apparently
are there
they're
different kinds?
I guess.
Oh, yeah, man, I told you I found out this is what I was, and I kind of didn't deal with it.
So I send Rev pretty much just a description of everything we know about this vampire. You know, she bit his neck, sucked his blood. She was using like commands to give us mental effects, so to speak, like I forgot her, and that she was able to pretty instantly make TJ turn on us.
He tells you that narrows it down to 3 types that he can think of. One of them, they can actively release if it's within a certain amount of time. Another one, you can do it with the right magic incantation. And then the other one, there isn't any other way but to kill them. But that the other 2, also, you can kill them.
All right, we have a 2/3 chance to keep her alive. TJ, I hate to put this on you, but you're the one that has been turned. What do you think, man? You haven't weighed in at all. Like, we can end this right now, or we can chance it, but that means that if we don't play this right, you're a vampire.
Don't want to kill this person, especially if we can find a way to turn her back.
I mean, that involves hunting down this vampire lord and killing that. That is long term. And ultimately, yeah, would probably mean that you're cured too, but then either A, you're a vampire that whole time until we can do that, if there's no other way to cure you, or B, we rely on waking her up, hoping that she can, and if she can't and gets away, again, you're a vampire the whole time.
I don't know, man. I want to kill her because she's a vampire, but if she's like an innocent person who got stuck into this, kind of like me, it kind of sucks.
There are just so many variables right now, and we are on a time crunch. Like, I don't know that we have a choice. We just roll so bad.
And to like have to fight a giant vampire who's just amazing and powerful is really going to be a pain in the butt.
Did you just equate power with physical height? Like, are you stuck in like
maybe.
Castlevania, where you think that because he's powerful, he's gonna be like 3 stories tall?
A little bit, yeah.
All right. I mean, because that's how it works.
Yeah.
So where do you land on this?
Tass is right.
So, yeah, I think I pull out the stake in the mallet, and I'm just going to go over to her, and I'm going to hold it against her chest and kind of look at Ori, not like for permission necessarily, but just kind of giving him a sad nod and say, I hate this, but I think it is the best way to keep your alibi and the only way we absolutely know we're going to save TJ. And then I swing the mallet.
And how much damage does that do?
4.
What is your additional effect? I don't think you need to roll anything. I think this is automatically a success since she is unconscious.
I would just say the extra point of damage.
Extra point of damage,
Yeah.
so 5 damage. She jolts awake and starts to sit up and grab at your arms. And outside you hear, "Oh, you were all in my house. Now I'm coming to yours." Hey.
So Enthalpy asks, how hard was TJ thinking about this decision at the table? The decision as to what they should do with Rachel?
A lot. I think that there was a lot of difficulty for them to make this decision because, I mean, as we discover pretty early and pretty regularly, violence is their last resort.
Mm-hmm.
And especially for TJ in this moment, because he is seeing someone who was drug into it the way that he was. And so later, obviously their opinions vary based off the other experiences that they have or what type of creature it is. If it seems like it's can be rationalized with, or if it was just created that way and kind of the aura that it gets off. But this really would be the first creature that they would kill. Like the thing from the Halifax it didn't feel the same because it was faceless. It was a blob. You know, it was the Venom suit. But this is a person that he has had conversation with, that then at the wrong moment kind of lashed out dangerously.
Yes, this also sets the precedent for no character that is named after a listener is safe, is often, in fact, possibly doomed. Was there a scenario where TJ ended up as the monstrous, as a vampire, if they decided not to go this route with Rachel, or if it was unsuccessful for some reason?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah. But it wasn't something you were kind of actively thinking about?
No, not really, because I had no idea that he was gonna drink the serum,
Mhm.
and then 2, that he was gonna get bit by Rachel.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that he was not gonna stay the mundane
Mm-hmm.
because he had a purpose. You know, that's all part of Jake's backstory, his history, whatever, is that, you know, he has his powers because of TJ. I think it very much would have probably been kind of like what we see in Cracked Mirror,
Mm-hmm.
if they had gone that way. That, like, how do I want to say this? If TJ had been changed in a way that caused him to give up the thing that was actually his purpose, then I think Jake would have found himself suddenly in a new playbook too, because he would have lost those powers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the 4 vampires on the island. We have Ori,
Yeah.
we have Rachel, we have Eston, we have Arlen. Was
Uh-huh.
Arlen Nia's dad?
Yeah.
Okay. Is Nia a vampire?
No, not as far as we know.
General question. This is a good question. Do you always stick to the harm capacities you set for monsters and minions, or do you ever adjust them on the fly?
I keep them the same, but I do have multiple attacks that they can do
Mm-hmm.
to kind of give myself that freedom. And it's, you know, okay, this is how much damage they can do from ranged, if they can do anything from ranged. This is how much they can do if they literally get hands on you and can keep you there versus if they're lashing out at you. So I don't think I've ever had a creature that its different attacks do the same damage, like the same amount or
that
type.
gives you a lot more options. That also, especially when at least right now we're in a party where we've got 2 people who are pretty armored and then TJ who like isn't at all. I don't think it gives you a few more options in terms of like, not killing TJ outright, but also making sure that the monsters do something against Jake, who now has 2 armor or things like that. Good. And then we end on another creepy Eston.
Another
line.
hello from Eston.
He's awful. All right. Another. What about the amount of damage that they can take?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think. No, because it like the first thing that comes to my mind is a fight that happens in a couple episodes with a creature that's very large that Jake just handily defeats purposefully. And in that situation, it was kind of prohibitive for him to do as much damage as he was doing. So I don't think that I've ever like bumped something's hit points. Because I try to, and I'm not as good about it as I probably could be. But I try to remember to let the creatures do their hard moves and to remember like, oh, hey, this creature can do this or it can avoid this. And so when they tell me they want to kick some ass, there's no roll because there's no chance of success. And so they get the ramification of that instead. It's, what is it? In Dungeon World, what's it called? The 10 hit point dragon or something like that, where it's like, yeah, it's only got 10 hit points, but a group of 4 players almost should never be able to physically make it into striking distance of this creature because of all of the abilities that it has. So,
has there ever been a time when you have a monster, you've statted out how much health they have, where you've decided like it had maybe like 1 or 2 more boxes of health left, but that was badass, so the monster's dead?
That's probably more likely. Like if it was a really cool success or like a really pivotal moment, or if it was a monster that was more important to the person who just went, then yeah, I'll do an extra point or 2 of damage to get rid of it.
I do that too.
Yeah, because it's more narratively satisfying. Boy, that got me thinking about something else. What was it? No, anyway.
All right. Well, while Rev is thinking about that, feel free to send in any last-minute questions, should you want to, while I talk about what's going on for the rest of the week. So, Thursday, the 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern, please join Megan and I for Mystery Detectives. We are going to be playing Nancy Drew, the Silent Spy. The costume theme is, of course, spies. So, whatever the spy version of you would wear. Is that a tuxedo? Is that a trench coat and a fedora? Is that a Archer-esque tactical turtleneck? Whatever that is, I wanna see it. Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Monday the 16th at 8 p.m. Please join us for episode 7 of the Omniverse Chronicles Crossroads Carnival. We are meeting our evil doppelgangers in the rival carnival, and shit's gonna go down. Carnival kaiju fight is all
Oh my gosh.
I will say. I'm very excited. And then next week at 8 p.m. Eastern, please join us for season 1, episode 11 listen through. We are just 2 more episodes away from finishing the Hawaii arc.
Yeah. And this next one gets fucking dangerous. It gets ugly in a good way.
I can't wait. I can't wait for more Eston and ghouls and just whoo. All right. right. Well, thanks so much, Rev, for listening to that episode with me, and thanks
Yeah,
all
of
of you
course.
for joining us. A lot of stuff happened. We got the Ori reveal. We met Aston. We've heard tell of Grigori Nash. My favorite thing being like, it's so dangerous to say his name, and it's like, okay, we're gonna say it all the time though. I also liked that that sort of very casual thing of like, well, it's either we kill Rachel or we kill this vampire lord, and it's like, who knows how long that would take, and it's like, oh, seasons.
I love the casualness of TJ going, that just sounds like a real pain in the butt.
That sounds like at least 200 episodes of work.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. We will see you next week for episode 11. Have a good night.
Goodbye.